Mr. Cole.
This is, I guess it could fall under Parks and Rec or just under general. And a meeting wouldn't be complete without the topic of pickleball. So it's not an immediate spend, but I would like to earmark 2 days of our reserve in conjunction with the SPLOS to consolidate our resources and use that specifically for a pickleball complex outside of the Cooper Creek location. So much like the Corda deal, where it would be contingent on them matching that amount and then exceeding that amount if needed. But I know that the Pickleball Association has $750,000 already verbally committed towards that project and a possible lease. So as an event production person myself, I know that, and talking a lot with the Sports Council for other events, it's I know it's pretty important from an economic standpoint on being able to consolidate all those courts together rather than have them spread out all over the city and run into an issue like we do with softball, where we have to utilize other parks for tournaments, and just to have them all in one location is going to provide that stronger economic impact over the course of the next 5 or 10 years.
It was my understanding that the pickleball folks were going to come to us as council in the next council meeting or so to talk to us about that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that we need to do anything with that today on the add delete list.
Well, I think, can we not earmark that 2 days just as a show of
2 days from
commitment from the city?
Well, we could do that, but we've not had any kind of a presentation from them, and that's what I'm looking for.
Well,
Mr. City Manager,
Budget Chair, I think I announced at maybe the last meeting, council meeting, or the meeting before, that I would be scheduling a meeting with the pickleball group, and I think Deputy City Manager Hodge has already scheduled that meeting. I don't know the date, but we, the staff, the team, the mayor, we will meet with those who have been working with pickleball to see if we can come to some understanding. But the special purpose local option sales tax money, that funds that were approved by the voters, said that we would be putting pickleball at Cooper Creek. And so that's a promise made that we've got to deliver on. I believe Ms. Browder said Cooper Creek. And so because we specified that in that process, unless you decide to do something differently, typically the promise made is a promise kept. And so
well, Mr. City Manager, if it's okay, let's hold this topic until after your meeting, and when you come back to us, would that be sufficient? We'd still have that money in the ending balance.
Yeah, I just want it to be a conversation that comes back up on the table.
Okay. The finance director has asked us for a short break. Sorry, hold on that, Mr.
No, I'd like to, since it was brought up, I'd like to address it, since it's going to be imperative that they understand the information when these conversations take place. But what I would like to say is that I was involved in Corda when we put the public-private partnership together with CSU. It took many, many years to make that happen, but we had to step up to the plate to jump-start it. And I'm looking at, these funds are imperative. We need to make a decision. The city needs to make a decision whether we're going to get involved, if we're going to participate, if we're going to support this effort. We are missing out on hundreds of thousands of sport tourism dollars, sales tax dollars, the numbers that are coming in across this country, and we're so far behind. The numbers that are coming in across this country, I would go to bat and put money down that it will surpass our softball, the revenues that softball brings in, and we need to figure out if we're gonna do this. But you can't have just a Parks and Recs facility and a complex at the same time. You're gonna have to choose one or other what we're gonna do. If you're gonna build a Parks and Recs facility, there's no need to build a complex, but we got people in this community that have been working hard, that are willing to write big checks, okay? Big checks. We can make this happen, and it's there. The city is gonna be the spark plug to make this work. And if we don't show a level of commitment here, it's gonna go away, and we're just gonna deal with Parks and Recs Court. That I challenge you that it's not gonna work at Cooper Creek, because Searswood is not gonna have pickleball in their backyard. I can just tell you that right now, because I'm getting those calls from Green Island. Every day I'm getting calls about the noise, the lights, and everything else. And unless you got a site to put that many courts and the parking and everything, I just don't see how it's gonna work. So the complex is the way to go. Opelika, a little town not far from us, just had almost 1,600 people come into little Opelika to play pickleball. Can you add that up with the sales tax revenue for 4+ days? And we're missing out on this revenue that we can generate right here. This facility will pay for itself. So if we don't step up to the plate and make a contribution, we're not doing it today, we're just earmarking it. And it's gonna take a while for them to meet their obligations. They're gonna have to go out there and raise the funds and do everything that they need to make it happen. And the city's not getting involved until they do that. But people need to see that the city is behind this, or they're not gonna get involved. And there's initiatives going on right now to get this thing going. And the city needs to make a decision. So I just want to say that, Madam Budget Chair. I appreciate you giving me the time, and I know that the clock's running, but I just felt like it needed to be highlighted on what Councilor Coble just said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam
Okay.
Just to his point, just to be clear, what I've said is that the funds that through this special purpose local option sales tax for Cooper Creek, promise made, promise kept. I don't know how many courts that would bring, but that is not to say, and that's the purpose, that's why we want to meet with this group. That is not to say we would not have a partnership with this group at another location. You don't have to eliminate pickleball courts or whatever that number will buy at Cooper Creek. I'm not suggesting that. Do what we promised for Cooper Creek and deliver on the promise. And then if we meet and we decide, hey, okay, city needs to buy in, and Council Coger wants 2 days of reserve, and we can put, you work a partnership, and because we want pickleball courts at Comer. We've talked about interior. We want pickleball. We want some pickleball all over the city, but we want that one central complex. And that is where the partnership that you talked about might come in. So you can do both separately. So don't think that I'm saying, we're going to Cooper Creek and we don't want to talk to you. We're going to Cooper Creek, but we want to see how and if we can partner to build a bigger, better complex, to do all the things that you just talked about. That makes sense? It's what we said we would do, is all I'm saying.
Okay, it is now 11:52.